Hey love, welcome to the Earth and I space. So glad that you're here and so thankful you're tapping in for this message today. Self-inquiry is honestly the pinnacle of being the creator of your life. So many different practices point to this point of self-inquiry, and we're going to dive into what that is and how it is the ultimate tool that you're going to use to become who it is you're meant to be in this life. Who you're meant to be and who you want to be coincide so much more than you might believe on the surface, because your mind has been infiltrated by everybody else's idea, by the world's perceptions, by the state of certain things in life. And while those have a purpose, you have a purpose that is much more sacred, and that is your responsibility to bring through in life. Self-inquiry is when you create the space and hold the space to ask yourself heavy questions and to be grounded enough to receive the answer. There's always an answer to the questions that we're asking, but in this fast-paced life, we don't always have the time, space, or clarity of mind to receive that answer. When we ask ourselves big questions, which really that's what self-inquiry is, it's taking the time to ask yourself questions, to listen to yourself, and to feel the way that you're feeling. No expectation, no endpoint in sight, no expectation. That's really what it comes down to. We don't have an expectation in that space, and we allow that space to be free. That's another key with self-inquiry. When I first started journaling, and I would say I'm a very proficient journaler at this point, it was so hard for me. I truly felt like a robot because I felt like I was writing what other people would want to read, even though I was writing this in a journal that no one else was ever going to see. But we've been so highly programmed to that point where we have to practice and we have to break down those walls that have enclosed us into living this life of scarcity. And when you get the chance to practice self-inquiry, do it all the time. Do it as often as possible. When you're in the grocery store and you feel a certain way, ask yourself, why am I feeling this? It doesn't always have an answer, or it always has an answer, but the answer isn't always tangible. It isn't always straightforward. It looks different in different situations, different circumstances. The more that you give yourself a platform in your own life, the more clarity you will have, and the more efficiently you can move in the direction of your dreams. You can move in the way that you want to move. When you use self-inquiry constantly, that's when you really start seeing the results. That's when you really start feeling differently. It's like you're taking off all these layers that have held you down and kept you quiet. And however you want to practice that, do it. But I urge you to find a way that feels natural and right for you. Whether it's talking to yourself, it's journaling, it's just listening to your thoughts and responding to them. This practice of inquiring about life experience allows us to unpack the experiences that we've had. We just go through life without really taking a moment to pause and fully absorb what's happening, what's going on, what we're feeling, why we feel a certain way. And that's necessary for change. The only way to get off the wheel of karma is to truly slow it down by taking the time to allow things to unfold, allowing the seeds we've planted to grow. Everyone has different desires, but this process of knowing thyself is timeless and it's universal. All over the map, everyone has this internal guidance system, has these deep dreams and ideas, and they will not nourish or flourish unless we take care of them properly. And sometimes we don't even know what they are yet, and hence the reason why we have to figure that out. When we take time to allow ourselves to be heard, not by other people, not by the world, by ourselves, that's when we really build confidence. That's when we really know who it is we're looking at in the mirror. And may this just serve as a reminder that no matter where you're at, it's perfect. Ask yourself those questions: why you aren't satisfied, what you need to change. Those are very broad questions, but the deeper that you go, the more meaningful the inquiry gets. Even the little things in life can deliver huge results when they're given the time and the space and the attention. I'm just reflecting back on different points in my journey where I didn't really understand why it was so important to meditate, to journal, to do yoga, to connect with my body, to live cyclically, to read, to follow my curiosity. And no matter where you're at in your life, don't ever stop being curious. Don't ever stop asking those questions, because those questions have and carry the weight. That's going to change your life over and over and over again, because your life doesn't just change once. It continues changing. The form continues changing. The thoughts continue changing. The actions continue changing. The environments continue changing. And you have to keep up with that and maintain that by getting deeper and deeper with your whole self. Wow, that feels good. I hope that you take some time today to inquire with yourself and just to understand a little bit deeper about what that whole thing means to you and looks like for you. Because it's not going to look like what you see on the internet. It's not going to look like the next person. It's going to be your own divine process with it. But you have to have one, whatever it is, right? Talking to yourself in the mirror, writing things down, asking yourself those questions, whether you type it in your notes or anything. I'll give you an example of today. I really had to inquire with myself about being a consumer versus a creator, specifically when it comes to the internet. And so much clarity and so much, freedom came from really just journaling about how I've been burying myself to hide from my own potential. And that only came when I took the time to write and be silent with myself and think about, what I've done, what I'm doing. And it hurts sometimes. Sometimes it brings up some uncomfortable emotion, but that's what's necessary to rewire that aspect of self, to remold that energy in your life, and to redirect that action. Drop in the comments how you self-inquire, or something that you've asked yourself recently, or anything that you would like to share. And thank you so much for being here, my dear loves. If you'd like a personalized story, I'll put the link back in the description box. And thanks for being part of the fam.